It was just a key, a small, unremarkable piece of brass. Slipping from my numb fingers, it clattered on the cold pavement, a tiny, metallic sound lost in the vast, indifferent hum of the city at twilight. I was too tired, too defeated to even bend down and pick it up. My grand ambitions, the towering skyscrapers of my dreams, all felt like they had crumbled into this one insignificant failure. I had lost the big contract, the one that was supposed to change everything. Now, even getting back into my own apartment felt like an insurmountable challenge. I just stood there, staring at the key, a tiny symbol of my own locked-out life. I turned away, deciding to walk, to just disappear into the evening shadows for a while. That simple act of leaving the key where it lay was the first ripple. A few moments later, a young woman, clutching a portfolio, hurried around the corner. Her eyes, wide and anxious, were fixed on the imposing glass doors of the building I had just given up on. She was late for her own big chance, a last-minute interview she'd almost missed the email for. As she rushed, her heel caught, and she stumbled. Her gaze fell, not on her scuffed shoe, but on the small glint of brass on the concrete. My key! She paused, her own frantic rush momentarily forgotten. She picked it up, her brow furrowed in thought. It was just a key, but leaving it there felt wrong. She looked at the building directory, found the superintendent's number, and made a quick call. A small act of kindness in the middle of her own personal storm. The superintendent, a kind, elderly man named Mr. Henderson, came down. He thanked her profusely and, seeing the portfolio in her hand and the nervous energy radiating from her, he asked where she was headed. When she explained she was late for an interview with the top design firm, his eyes lit up. His daughter worked there. He made another call, not as a superintendent, but as a proud father. He explained the situation, vouched for the character of the kind stranger who returned a lost key, and asked if they could still see her. 10 minutes later, the young woman was not in the lobby, but in the elevator, ascending towards an opportunity she thought had vanished. The ripple was growing, turning into a wave, all because of a key I had abandoned. While she was unknowingly riding the wave of my small failure, I was walking aimlessly through the park. The city lights began to twinkle, mocking the darkness I felt inside. My phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. It was Mr. Henderson. He told me a young artist had found my key. He said he had it safe in his office. He also said something else, something that stopped me in my tracks. He mentioned the artist was interviewing for the junior position on the very project I had just lost. He told me she was brilliant, but that the firm was still looking for a senior project lead after the primary candidate me had apparently stormed out without even discussing the feedback. My mind raced. I hadn't stormed out. I had been politely dismissed, or so I thought. I had misinterpreted their non-committal expressions as final. I had assumed failure and walked away from a conversation that hadn't even finished. My small act of despair, leaving the key, had circled back to me as a sliver of hope. I had a choice. I could continue walking into the night, nursing my bruised ego and accepting the defeat I had manufactured myself. Or I could turn around. I could walk back to that building, not as a failure, but as someone who had misunderstood. I could face the potential embarrassment and fight for the dream I was so quick to abandon. The key was more than just a piece of metal now. It was a turning point. It was a decision between staying locked out or trying the door one more time. I took a deep breath, the cool night air filling my lungs, and I turned around. I started walking, then jogging, then running back towards the light. When I got back, breathless and heart pounding, the lobby was quiet, but Mr. Henderson was there, waiting, with my key in his hand. He just smiled and nodded towards the elevator. Upstairs, I found the partners packing up. They looked surprised to see me. I explained the misunderstanding, my assumption, my premature retreat. We talked for another hour. We went over the feedback. They saw my passion, not just my portfolio. And the young artist, she got the junior position. She was, as Mr. Henderson had said, brilliant. Her fresh perspective was exactly what the project needed. And me? I got the lead. We were a team. That night, 2 careers were transformed. 2 lives were set on a new, brighter path. All because a key fell. A stranger chose kindness, and a man who thought he was locked out of his own life was given a second chance to open the door. It taught me that sometimes the smallest, most insignificant moments of loss can accidentally create the keys to our greatest victories. And you never know how the ripples of your own story might connect with someone else's. Thanks for watching.